Hello everyone and welcome back, and today you are in the kitchen with me and we'll be making a beautiful soul food dinner which will consist of a few ingredients, which will be our main ingredients is some collard greens, some turkey wings, some baked macaroni, potato salad, and some cornbread. Guys, we are going to make this dish and it's going to be spectacular. When you start making your dish, you want to start off with the items that take the longest to cook. So right now we're going to start washing our meat that's going inside our greens, which is some pork. And the reason for my choice of meat today is because I'm looking for just a little fat that will release into my greens, that will give my greens a nice smoke taste and great flavor. Now guys, you don't have to use pork if you don't want. I just chose to use that for today. And you can use turkey. And I normally use turkey butt because it has a greasy component that gives off when cooking certain dishes. But today I wanted to use pork. Guys, you know that you can always use other meats to substitute for the pork that I'm using today. Make this dish your own. That's my preference of using for today. And just make it what you want it. If you want to use turkey, use turkey. But please don't knock it until you try it, because it is a great add into your greens. And you will see that if you eat pork, you will see that it gives the greens great flavor. So as you see here, we'll begin to wash our meat, and we want to consciously clean the meat because it's been smoked and handled, and you just want to make sure that you remove anything. Just give it some couple rinses and you'll be fine. But just kind of make sure that you wash it because you want to make sure your food is clean. So here I have a pot that I'm going to be using for my greens, and I'm going to be adding in the smoked meat, and I'm going to allow that to cook for approximately 30 minutes before I add the greens. So over here I'm going to begin to clean my turkey wings, because like I said, that we want to start off with our dishes that's going to take the longest. So you want to start off with, like I said, the meat for the greens. And I'm going cleaning my turkey wings here, and I'm going to begin to season them and prepare them to go into the oven, which will take a particular time. And from that point, we'll be going on to the next step to make sure these dishes complete all at the same time. Okay, so here I am washing my turkey wings. Okay, and I have a brush where I just kind of constantly feel that I am, and I can see as well that I'm cleaning off anything that should not be on the skin of the turkey wings. Okay, so you want to give it a thorough clean, and you want to repeat this process until you feel that they are completely clean. All right, so guys, I feel that this video I'm making should maybe this is a step-by-step, so I think you guys should be able to follow this video without me talking it all the way through. Some people like the talking. Some people prefer not to hear the talking. But this is a tutorial, and a lot of people already know how to prepare these dishes. And I just want to make sure that my viewers are understanding my steps, and to know that what can be done in difference of what I'm doing, because like I said, everything is not set in stone until you make it your own. So you want to begin this viewing what I'm doing opposed to everything I'm saying, because you can determine whether you want more or less. Okay, so here I'm going to begin to start to season, and I'm going to use some basic seasoned salt and a couple ingredients that can be bought really over the counter in your grocery store. You don't have to go crazy looking for certain things. I do have some gourmet blends that may not be in your local supermarket, but that doesn't make your dish any different. That's my preference. That's what I use. Okay, you can use whatever it is to your palate, your taste buds, where you know that you want your food to taste. So you're going to taste your food as you go anyway. So if you're used to using hot spices, you can use that. Just know that that's your taste, okay? But these are just basics, and this is what I prefer, okay? So I'm going to add in some garlic powder. I add in some spice blend that has some smoked paprika, some chili, just a little heat, and some lime. And here is some dry herbs that I'm going to be adding as well. And I'm going to massage all these ingredients into these turkey wings. Allow them to sit just until I'm ready to put them in the oven, because I'm have to dress them with some peppers and onions, and we're going to seal that, and we're going to put them in the oven, and we're going to keep that in the oven for a duration of time. And all these ingredients will be in my description column. So if you are interested in following my steps, you can go to my bio and just see what my steps were, okay? But I know you guys can do this on your own. Just be lightly on seasoning. You'll always be safe, okay? So here I'm garnishing my turkey wings, which we're going to give these turkey wings great flavor, okay? And we're going to be adding in also just some, you can add water, or you can use chicken broth, and that is just going to give it, allow the turkey wings to release its natural oils and begin to make its own broth, okay? So you don't want it to be dry when it's cooking, start off dry. So you want to just kind of like just give it some help, and you're just going to add just a little bit of water, like I said, or you can use chicken broth, and that's up to you. You don't have to have just have one or the other. So we're going to cover this up, and we're going to allow these to cook at 350 degrees for about an hour and a half. Then we will remove them and allow them to rest, and they will be still cooking, because they're so hot. And then we'll be adding in our next oven dish that should be ready to go in, which should be your baked macaroni, okay? Because your baked macaroni has a duration of time as well. So we have some greens that we're going to remove the center stem. They have a kind of like a bitter taste to them. Some people prefer that, to keep a couple and put them in their greens. I prefer not to, and this is total optional if you want. But I choose to remove them. So as you see here, I've stacked them, and I begin to roll and slice them thin, and I kind of keep them in the same formation when I'm slicing. And what that gives is a better formation when you're forking them. And to slice them thin is to give them good cooking time. They cook faster, and they become more tender because they cook faster as well. They break down faster. It's just science, I guess. So we're going to repeat this process until we are completely done, and we'll see that we'll be going into our next step. So we know we have the smoked meat that's cooking for about a half an hour, and we're gonna try to have our greens cleaned completely and going into that pot within that half an hour of that boiling time, okay? So you have to kind of like multitask. You don't sit still until everything is just pretty much on until we get to our last, which is our cornbread, and that is the last thing that will be going into the oven. So from this point, we are going to make sure we get these greens into the pot so they can start cooking, because it has a duration of time. And we already took the turkey wings out, and we are going on to the baked macaroni. Okay, so once the baked macaroni go in, we go into our next step, which will be our potato salad. Okay, so we just have to move at a gracefully pace, and to make sure everything is completely done for dinner time. Okay, so stay with me. Okay guys, so as you see here, we begin to start putting our greens in our pot of the smoked meat that's been boiling for 30 minutes, a little over 30 minutes now. And we're just going to add those into that pot along with some raw vegetables, which is some onions and some red pepper, which is going to give it great flavor, okay? And what you want to do is you're going to lightly season your pot, not to overbear it, because you may want to add a little later. So you add your little seasonings that of your preference, which is I have some seasoning salt, Lawry's, you can use whatever you like, adobo, okay, if that's what you like to use, okay, some black pepper and some garlic powder, okay, garlic powder don't have any sodium in it. We're also going to add in some white sugar, and that's approximately like a tablespoon, and a little white vinegar, okay? And what that does is the sugar will help cut the bitterness of the greens, okay? And also the white vinegar is going to help to preserve the pot. You'll be adding onions and vegetables and stuff like that to the pot. And even if you didn't add those things, you want to add just a little bit of vinegar, like a tablespoon, to preserve the pot. And also it's going to help tenderize the greens as well. So guys, you want to make sure that you, when cooking your greens, you want to make sure the broth covers the greens. And this to reassure that that the greens are cooking. And the longer greens cook, the better they taste. So it's very important to know that your flame, whether you're cooking on a gas stove or electric stove, that is on a medium heat, which would be considered a 4.5 to a 5 on the dial of turning your flame. And you just want to make sure that your flame is not too high and not too low, okay? And the whole idea is to just make sure your pot is cooking and not boiling out. And while that is cooking, we're going to put a lid on that, and we're going to just move on to our next dish, which will be our baked macaroni. We have a pot here with some boiling water, and I'm adding some salt to make sure my noodles are seasoned. If you don't, it will have a bland taste, and you'll be working very hard to make sure that it's seasoned well. Okay, and you're going to strain that off at the end. At the end, once it's the noodles are tender, so we'll get a good stir, okay, and allow that to come to a boil. And once that's done, we're gonna strain it, like I said, and do not rinse, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna add that back into the pot that it was boiling in from the beginning, because it's very hot, and it will help melt the ingredients that's going in, which is our butter. I have 2 eggs here that I'm going to be whisking, and I'm going to be adding that in. That's going to help bind the macaroni when it's time to bake it. And we're going to be adding also some milk. I'm going to be using about 1.5 cups because I want the cheese to kind of be loose, so it all cook evenly, as opposed to you having lumps, cheese here and no cheese there. So this is why I'm mixing this inside the pot, and I have the flame on a medium or low. It's not high, but it's just keeping it warm so that these cheeses and these ingredients can bind together. Okay, so I'm adding in some cheese, and I chose some Sharp, some Mozzarella, okay, and I have also some Velvetta, and I have used you can use the ones in the bags now, because I used to grate everything, and I'm just cutting down on the time. All right, so we're gonna just kind of give that a good stir, and we just want to make sure we have enough milk, and if you need a little bit more, you can, but you should just kind of like just keep mixing it, because the heat is going to melt the cheese. All right, and what you want to do also now is try to make sure you have a dish, baking pan, that you're going to want to put that macaroni in. So I have some black pepper, some seasonings I'm going to be adding to this dish, which has some black pepper. I'm going to be giving that a couple shakes, guys, and also I have some smoked paprika. All right, and it's optional. If you don't have it, that's fine. But yeah, I have some smoked paprika, and I'm also going to be adding just a little bit of sodium, just to bring it up a notch. I've tasted, and I think you should taste yours as well, just to see if the cheeses and everything. If it's too much, if you feel that it's enough, you don't have to. Then that's totally optional, because it's not going to be salty or anything. It's just some people have a palate that prefer high seasoning and very low seasoning. Okay, and that's the reason for when you're making your dish, you follow, but you make it your own. Okay, and you make sure that when this comes to taste, you know that it's your palate that you are catering to. Okay, so as you see, the macaroni It's just about ready to go into a dish because the cheese has melted and it's evenly. So you have a dish here, and I have some butter, which I am basting to make sure that when I put the macaroni in and it bakes, it helps develop that crust that you want on the side, as well as when you're removing to serve your portion to your meal. Guys, I love macaroni and cheese. It's such a great side dish, but my preference is to have a nice crust on the sides and the top, and cheesy in the middle. For me, it's the right texture, and it's going to go great with the combinations of other dishes that you have that you're going to be eating, which is the turkey wings and the collard greens so far. So here, we're going to be adding in the macaroni into that dish, okay? And we're going to just kind of make sure it's evenly on the dish. And we're going to add in a little black pepper on the top. Just going to sprinkle a little bit, not much, and that's optional. You don't have to, because I did add it inside, but I'm also adding just a little on the outside. Go ahead and try it. Just put some black pepper on top. Here I've got some, I'm going to be putting some smoked paprika on top as well. All right, I'm just going to give it some shakes and just cover the whole entire dish, which is going to allow the big macaroni to have a nice contrast as it develops that crust on top. So it will be presentational, it will be beautiful, and also it's going to taste delicious as well. So we're going to be adding also some parsley flakes as a garnish. It's going to be adding into this crust that is developing on the top from the cheese. So when you break into it, the top crust will have that beautiful texture, and it will look beautiful. Okay, guys, I don't know about you. I know, like, when I go out to eat, the first thing I'm doing is looking at my food, and if it don't look right, I'm already assuming it doesn't taste right. We already know that it's going to taste great. We also need it to look good as well. So we want to make sure we do all the finishings on our dishes to make sure that it's enjoyable. Okay, so here we are. We have this big macaroni, and like I said, it had that crust. So when now that you break into it and it's on your plate, it has that great, that your palate is just going to start talking, because you have that crust and you have that creaminess, which is what you're looking for. Okay, so here I'm going to be making 2 boxes of Jiffy cornbread mix from the box, and pretty much you can follow the box instruction. But due to I'm making 2 boxes and I want it to be really fluffy, I'm adding, sticking to the box, I'll be adding in 2 tablespoons of cooking oil. That is going to allow this cornbread to be very moist. And once we start whisking the cornbread, we'll begin adding in the ingredient, which is some whole milk. We're not going to use any half milk, 1%, 2%. We don't use those milks when we are baking. It will not bind, it will not come out right. So we're going to use whole milk, and we're going to use approximate a cup and a half of milk. And we're going to gradually add this into your mix until you see the consistency that you're looking for. Okay, so the ideal look is to make sure that it's not too runny, but it's not too thick. Okay, so that's why you have to whisk it and just kind of get it where you see that it's coming together. Okay, so I put it like a cup and a half, and I'm going to be adding 2 eggs, which is going to help bind it and hold it together when baking. All right, and I'm going to be also adding in 2 tablespoons of cooking oil. Okay, and that's going to help keep it moist. When it rises, it will stay moist. It won't, after everything cools down, sometimes bread is kind of like stay hard, gets hard, but this won't happen. It's gonna be like a cake. And I'll try it. If you haven't, try it. All right. And you'll be very, very happy with that. And you're gonna allow that to bake for about 35 to 45 minutes. Okay. But you might want to do like a fork test just to make sure when you stick the fork in after the 35 to 45 minutes that the fork come out clean. You can do a butter knife or you can do a fork test. When you see that the fork comes out clean, that it's done. Okay. So you want to base your dish with some oil, and then you're going to add your cornbread into this dish and allow it to cook at 350 degrees for 35 to 45 minutes. And once we have done our fork test, guys, you're going to want to see your cornbread with a nice golden top. And if it's not, you would add, just kind of like put some butter on top and put it on your top rack for about another 3 to 5 minutes, and then give a nice golden look, and it will look like this. Okay. So here we have the cornbread, and it's going to be delicious along with those other dishes that we have made already, that we have coming together. So here we have some boiling water with 6 eggs, and I'm gonna allow that to cook. Okay, and after they're done, we're just going to scoop those out and allow them to cool. And here we have some raw vegetables, which is some red and green peppers chopped very small with a half an onion, and we chop those eggs up just to make sure that they mix together when it's time to put everything together. So here we have the boiling water, and we're going to add those potatoes in. And guys, be very careful because that water is hot, and we're going to just incorporate those potatoes in that water and allow that to come. Allow that to cook to its tender. Do like a little fork test, and if you see it start to break, you might want to remove it, strain it off, okay, and rinse it off with some cool water. Allow it to sit. They'll still be hot, but you allow them to sit to make sure that excess water is removed. So here we have a mixing bowl, which I have those potatoes in, and you see the steam that's coming from it, which I have allowed the water to completely drain off. So I'm going to begin adding in my ingredients, which is my eggs, and I'm going to be also adding 3 tablespoons of pickle relish. Okay, and I choose this brand only because I like the taste. Now there are other brands, and you can use whatever you like. We're just going to keep this simple. If you feel that you want to add any other ingredients in, you can. I'm going to also add in some spicy mustard, a tablespoon of spicy mustard. And this is going to help give it a nice zing to it, give it a nice flavor as well. I'm going to be also adding some mayo. I use, you can use whatever brand you want. I use Hellman. I believe does make a difference in taste for what I use my salads. I tried other brands and it doesn't come out the way I need it to come out, so I use Hellman's. Great flavor. I'm going to be adding in some black pepper as a seasoning, and we're going to just give that a couple shakes, and we're going to add in some sodium, which is a little Himalaya salt, and you just use as much as you need according to your palate. A little smoked paprika for color, contrast, and also for great flavor. Okay, and we're going to give that a couple shakes as well. And we're going to start folding these ingredients together, guys. You don't want to mash it, okay, because the more you mix and mash, it will become really mushy, and you don't want that. So you want to gently fold these ingredients together so you can get the consistency. A little bite-sized potato, they'll be very tender, but by putting them in the refrigerator and allowing it to chill, it will bind together, and you will, as you scoop it out and serve, it won't look like mashed potatoes. So here we are going to begin to put this to a dish, and you're going to allow that to chill in your refrigerator for about 30 minutes because we want it to kind of bind together And this is what you will have, a beautiful potato salad, for which you will find a delicious side for any soulful dinner. And here we are, your delicious soulful dinner, your baked turkey wings, collard greens, baked macaroni, and some cornbread. And I hope you guys enjoy this view. I enjoy you guys watching. And for the new viewers, please subscribe to this channel. Thank you for your support. And make a comment, press that like button, turn on your notification, guys, so you can get all the upcoming videos that's coming soon. And always remember, nothing is set in stone until you make it your own. This was delicious. Hope to see you guys soon. Bye.